Welcome everyone to this week's Colorscope. My name is Elizabeth Harper. My website is sealedwithlove.com, and this week my wonderful guest is Rita Berkowitz. Rita, hi.
Hi.
Rita is a spirit medium and an artist, most fabulous spirit artist. So she paints guides and your loved ones in spirit. So do take a look at her website, thespiritartist.com. That's
right.
it. And Rita is also going to be in Sturbridge this week. She's going to be at the New Living. Is it New Living? It's New Living, isn't it? In September.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, New Living Expo, which is Sturbridge. So take a look at that as well. Okay, so we chose 3 colors just before we started, and the 3 colors are blue, green, and sand. So use your intuition to select one of those 3 colors, and then we're going to talk about those colors. So blue, green, or sand. All right, so we're going to start with blue. Now, my blue offering is this little blue bottle, which is called Peace. Blue energy, of course, is the throat chakra, but that blue is very much about going with the flow, and the peace energy that comes in often is about communication and allowing that communication to flow through you with peace. So it may be that you need to communicate right now something that could be a little bit challenging, but you want to come into that place of peace, breathe, because blue energy is breathing. Breathe before you say anything. Yes. And then just allow yourself to communicate whatever it is you need to communicate at this moment. Blue energy links you with the divine light, which is perfect with Rita as well. And it can be a mediumship color too, because you're hearing loved ones as well as communicating. So you could find yourself hearing your name being called, and you're looking around wondering who's there at this moment, and it could just be your loved ones trying to communicate with you. So I'm going to hand you over to Rita, and Rita's going to show you where that blue energy came from in the first place.
Okay, so this is a landscape drawing that I just finished today, and the blue of the water, which is flowing, and for me, as a medium, to just allow it to flow, to just allow that energy to move through you, and to not try to censor. You know, we don't need stakes in the water. We just need that energy to flow through and feel that energy, experience that energy, and let that come right out of your voice. Spirit will speak through you if you permit that. So for me, the flow of the water is just the most magnificent thing that we can experience, and very wonderful. And when it is a beautiful day outside and the sky is blue, so is the water. And so that is peace as I feel it. Wonderful.
That's lovely. Thank you. Okay, so you may have noticed there was some green in that picture, and that green energy is our next color, of course. Now, my offering for the green is this, which is called Earth Goddess. And that green, there's 3 greens in there. There's emerald and olive, and then there's a light peridot green. So I feel with this green energy that it's about growth on different levels. So an aspect of this, of course, you know, at the beginning of spring, the trees blossom in that beautiful bright green, and then they go into a darker green. And then when we start going into autumn, of course, they change color. And that's very much about death and endings, and then new beginnings again in the spring. But we have that space in between where we're wondering what's happening, and we go inside of ourselves maybe until we come out again. So that green energy can be about letting go and moving in new directions, and then finding something new and then letting go again. So there's a lot of spiraling and changing energy for you right now with that green. Don't hold on to it. Don't allow it to be like pond scum and get stuck. Just allow it to move through your energy field and come through your heart, of course, which is the green energy as well. So I'm going to pass you over to Rita and see what Rita has to say.
Okay. So again, let's look at the painting for just a moment. And if you see it, you can see the levels of green as they grow up through the marshes. The levels of green, and in living by the water, in living at the marshes, one of the things that we notice is it is ever changing. It never looks the same twice when you look out at it. And so for me, that green is life. Life bursting forth, being who it is, and all aspects of life. As Elizabeth was talking about, that the spring brings that beautiful peridot green, which is, on the top layers of the marsh. As you look down, as you get closer to the areas where the mud comes up through, sometimes life can feel a little muddy, but it's always perfect exactly as it is. So even in that life, death, and rebirth process, life is perfect as it is. And as you live with nature and as you view nature, you start to know that even in the most unusual thing, it is beautiful, and you truly can appreciate the beauty of what it is.
That's fabulous. And it makes me think of it makes me think of the lotus flower, of course, coming up, having to come from the mud.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes, coming right out of the mud, and yet one of the most beautiful flowers we can imagine.
Wow, so that's an additional message for you.
Yes.
Okay, so our final colour is sand. Well, just before Rita and I connected, I was thinking about caramel because I was walking past my teddy bear. Here's the Ted, and Teddy I got when I was 1.5 years old, and that was a long time ago. And at the time I was sick, and my mother brought Teddy in to say, "You're going to feel better." And I felt better immediately, and I thought Teddy Bear was my healing bear. And I would give it to anyone who was sick, but they had to give it back to me, when they got better. So I feel that this sand energy, of course, sand connects to that sands of time, that time can be the biggest healer. And it's just at this moment, again, there may be something that's happening in your life, and you might be holding on and thinking, it's just never going to get better, or it's difficult for you. But that sands of time energy is coming in just to remind you that it takes time, and even when it's hard to let go, eventually you will come to that place of letting go, and it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. All right, so I'm going to hand you over to Rita and see what Rita has to say.
Okay, well, sand to me, as I look at sand as an artist, sand is the coming together of so many subtle colors. It's the breaking down of the old. It's the grounding. So we look at sand and we see, if you put it in your hand and you look at it, you can see that there's pinks and there's aquas and there's clear stone. And so you look at all of this. When you look at the beach itself, you say, okay, it's sand color, and we think of it as a beige. But if you look at the sand itself, it's got so much in it. And even when you're drawing sand, you have to look at all of the subtleties of the different colors that come together to make the sand. And again, that's a piece of all aspects of life, and this wonderful sense of grounding us, of calming us. There's not a time that I would go down to the beach or go down to the marshes and then look at the sand where it doesn't just immediately de-escalate any of the stress of the day and calm me down. Sand is the horizon, and so we see it there, and that is the piece that just makes us feel smooth, and it's beautiful.
That's lovely. Of course, as you're talking, I've got my jingle bells here with
Yes, I know that.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you to Rita for joining us this week as the most wonderful guest and artist, of course. Do take a look at her website, thespiritartist.com, and do join her at Sturbridge at the New Living Expo. This coming weekend, she'll be teaching with Karen Paolino on, is it Sunday morning?
Sunday, yes. Yeah. Sunday morning.
That's the perfect time to connect with your loved ones. And, of course, take a look at my website, sealedwithlove.com. I'll be at the expo too, so I look forward to seeing you there. Lots of Coloriscious blessings for your week ahead. Bye.
Bye-bye.